So hey guys, it's Voice in the Fog once again, and I'm here with another video. But more importantly, I think just making videos on NEET PG preparation and study strategies is absolutely fine. But I think when I found this comment, I realized that other aspects of NEET PG preparation needs to be dealt, because there's not only a single aspect which actually is important for someone's preparation. There's so many factors involved basically in someone's preparation. Like sometimes like luck is not only basically for the exam day only. Luck is way beyond that. So more importantly, I believe that many people say that in the last 3 hours of the exam actually a lot of things matter, but even the preparation phase also everything matters. And even luck can be like as as a small thing as your just friend circle, right? Many people regret after NEET PG during after their internship, that after seeing basically other guys who got basically selected, and they start to realize that okay, they were in the wrong friend circle. Everyone had this mindset that let's basically chill in the internship and think about the future later. But then eventually they realize that the motivation in the after the internship attempt actually drops down, and there is no accountability anymore. And then you realize that study preparation alone at home is actually not that easy. All that stuff is becomes a issue. So luck is definitely important. So all these things actually still include luck, not only friend circle, but yeah, of course, toxic stuff. Like I was reading a few comments about not comments, actually there were certain DMs, and I was also reading on Reddit as well, that about some toxic relationships, more importantly breakups and everything, right? So someone basically if has the breakup in the mid of the NEET PG preparation, and it's it's tough to handle, maybe like 4 years relationship or like 5 years relationship, something like that. So it becomes a bit of a tough to handle, right? So all these things I'll be basically covering here. So first of all, I'll try to keep this video short, because my previous videos were like quite long, and I don't think it's good. I can like tell you the same information in different videos, but they should be like under, I'll try to keep it under 10 minutes, but let's see how does it goes. So first of all, I'll cover 3 aspects, right? So in this comment, I think 3 aspects are there. Family, toxic family, if the family is toxic or any relationship is toxic, and also I will cover the friendship part, because relationship is not only what you think, it's beyond that, right? So first of all, so we will be talking about 3 readings, okay? So I think you guys have a habit of learning stuff in tabular forms by comparing, right? So here's a table. So okay, so this is these are toxic friends, and then here's the family, and here is your relationship, right? Okay, so now what usually happens is that actually these 2 things actually go hand in hand, right? So I believe that these 2 things go hand in hand. That's this friends thing and this partners thing. Usually people who have a toxic family, I have observed like the people who have a toxic family, they don't much actually talk at home. They usually have great friends and a good partner, because that's where actually they can find their life. But the people who have toxic friends, and they also have a toxic partner, or maybe something else, but they have a very, very good family, right? So one thing is for sure. So I still believe that I don't know, like I've met a lot of people who are actually atheists, and they believe that they like God doesn't exist. But I'm like truly grateful for these people, because I don't want anything to happen with them because of which they actually start believing in God. Okay, so or basically start to basically hope is a very painful thing to be at, where you just basically can hope and you can basically look up into the sky towards God, and and that's when actually people start to believe in God, and they actually see miracles happening and everything. So I don't want these people. I think these are the ones who are actually really, really blessed and taken care by the God. So basically God actually takes care of everything, right? So if you have a toxic family, right, you will have something to make up for. You will have a good friend, you will have a best friend, you will have a good group of friends, or you will have a very nice partner who will actually take care of all your needs, right? So they're like the world is not one, right? So like all types of stories exist, right? So there are so many people who say that we are single, we don't get any partner, and all that stuff. But at the same time, there are so many people who found their their partners actually supported in so many things. And I've seen myself, I've heard a lot of stories also, like on the internet also you find a lot of stories out there. But at the same time, the opposite also sometimes true. Sometimes friends are toxic, sometimes you get to know friends are toxic, sometimes you never get to know friends are toxic, and you eventually start to change, and your actually trajectory completely changes unless you realize that things have been not in a good condition because of your basically your environment and everything. Now the fact is that how to deal with it. So first of all, Dealing is basically, if you talk about basically toxic family, first of all, okay, relationships I'll talk at the last. So toxic family, if I talk about, so I believe that there are two things. First of all, if you are basically away in a basically different city, then it becomes very very easy, because you only basically depend on, sometimes if you're very, very young, then sometimes maybe money, that's it, right? That's what you are actually usually dependent on. Otherwise, on phone calls also, basically toxicity can't easily reach you. So that's actually the thing as well. You have a bit of freedom, but then the problem is solved, right? So the problem lies when you are at home, right? So there are obviously certain family members, I believe that usually the mothers are the best, right? Because they are the ones who actually provide everyone with unconditional love, their children with unconditional love, right? So I don't think that majority of them would have problem there. Majority of them would have problem maybe with maybe father, someone, elder brother or something like that. So the problem might be that, or any other relatives, right? Even basically any other relatives. So the problem might be that you are getting comments, negative comments about everything, that you are not, you are not good enough, or you got a bad rank or something like that. Rather than support, you're getting negative comments, right? So that actually really demoralizes you. So in these moments, what you need to realize, first of all, turn to God, because when you have no one with you, God is always there with you. Even when you feel that there are only your steps. There's a very old quote, I don't know, but it really it helps. So whenever they are only basically your footsteps, right? When you see that they are only your footsteps, and you find yourself walking alone, okay? So actually it's not true, because these footsteps are not actually yours. These footsteps are God's, and He's actually holding you. So the fact is that turn to God. You need to have a very very strong positive self talk. You need to have a very very positive self talk, and more importantly, you need to find people who are on the same journey. For example, you are actually preparing maybe, and you have a toxic family. So what happens is that you have to basically find someone on the same journey. You can you'll think that, okay, you are all alone, don't have anyone in touch. First of all, from my past, right? Your past friends could be in touch with. You can get in touch with your past friends. Maybe if you had good friends in college, if you had good friends in school, or anywhere, like you can basically be there. If not, then find someone who is actually on the same journey, right? Maybe on basically certain coachings. You can basically go to different any coaching as such, where you can basically find people, or there can be telegram groups where you can just find good study partners and something like that, or for accountability maybe. And you can also basically find maybe on Instagram. I know that Instagram is a bit distracting, and you should not use it from your main ID. Sometimes you can actually make a different ID where you are not fully following certain meme pages and everything. You just basically use for this, and you can also use phone apps and all everything. I have to make a certain different video on that. Please someone comment that, so that I remember that the beautiful app is OneSec. Okay, so this is a very very beautiful app. This can basically help you block a lot of things, right? A lot of people commented, a few people actually commented basically about this phone addiction as well, and some other stuff about the phone addiction. So not only phone addiction, beyond that. Okay, so anyways, so OneSec is a very very good app which can help you, limit your screen time, and it's actually very very cheap. I think it's 400 something basically per year. Earlier it was 250 per year, but this year actually they actually increased it. So I had it basically from the previous year only. It's a very beautiful app, right? So what happens is that this is somewhere or the other you will actually find, because as I told you that God is actually carrying you, right? And He will actually make you meet with someone, because if you really really want it, and all these things are actually there, right? You should basically imagine a bit as well. Subconscious thing, this actually subconscious mind stuff actually works, right? Everyone has heard about it. It actually works, right? So if you imagine that you have a nice environment, if you have a nice study partner, accountability, you will automatically get that, right? So it actually happens. If you pray to God, God gifts you the things, right? So He won't like hand over your dream to you, but like for example, He will hand over an accountability partner to you. He will maybe hand over like a nice like you will have food on a plate. You will have a study table. You will have a room to study. All these things you will have. So this is what God will actually give you, and eventually you can fulfill your dream. So that's the thing. So because like if God never wanted you to fulfill your dream, you would have never been able to start at the first place, because just blink of an eye, he can actually destroy like every single thing. So if he never wanted you to prepare, you would have been, that dream was never in your heart, would have been never in your heart, and you would have, anything could have happened, but you would have not be able to sit to study. That's actually the thing. So but actually you have all these opportunities. That means you are somewhere or the other, I think, the chosen one. And I still believe that not working hard and basically making excuses is actually disrespect to God's choice, because he actually chose you, and there was a reason that he actually chose you, right? So it's actually disrespecting God. So these are the practical solutions, and these are the philosophical and spiritual solutions which you can find to deal with a toxic family. You have to anyhow surround yourself with positivity, and this is the only way you can surround yourself with positivity. Then we talk about basically toxic partners. So first of all, it completely depends. So the first solution, of course, if any person who is actually not much experience about relations, or basically haven't basically been into it, or basically anyways heard about it, is actually a breakup, right? So your toxic partner, the breakup, right? But anyone who's actually going through it, I think basically they will understand, because I've seen a lot of these cases, and a lot like in college time, and even in school and everything. So like I am around 25. So what happens is that by this time, like you already know that was the situation. I'm seeing all these things like from 13-14 years of age. So I've seen a lot of guys and girls, I've my friends and everything, toxic relationships I've seen. But the fact is that breakup is just not an easy solution, because sometimes like you are basically into it from 4 years. There are a lot of reasons like why this actually became a toxic thing, right? It was going well actually till 3 years, and then suddenly a third person entered. Now it has become a toxic thing. The other person is actually changing, because everyone is actually growing in this age. That's why this is also, I want to build a student community where we actually deal with all these basically problems, because everyone is growing, right? So that person, like you got into the relationship at 18 years maybe, and then you actually it's your just a second. Yeah, so you are at basically 18 years, and then basically you are at let's say you are 23 now, 23 years old, or 24 years old, and now the person is also basically changing, right? So you have changed a lot, right? You are not the same person who was 18 years old. I hope so, you're not the same person. But that person would have also changed, right? So those things actually start to occur, and like emotions and memories it's not that easy to erase them at once, right? So memories also, like you can actually erase at 1 second, you can just walk away. But emotions is something which is like very tough thing, right? That's the only thing which actually keeps you hanging out there, right? I've seen a lot of guys, sometimes even girls, that who are actually not able to move on. Like in terms of, in case of girls, I've observed that people say that it's so easy like for them to move on, but I've realized that because they have a lot of options and all that stuff, that's what people say. But I've seen that there's a lot of emptiness, and out there. I mean, this is nothing basically as a comment or something, but just a thing which I observed, that a lot of emptiness, because they are never able to, like I think many times, not all girls of course, but many times they are not able to face themselves after a breakup and heal and everything, and they rush into another ones, because they have like multiple options and everything. So what happens is that they are never able to they're always projecting and everything, but they're not able to I think if you're a girl and you're going through this toxic stuff, I think and you a breakup or something, right? Even if you're going out in a breakup or something, like through a breakup or something, I think you should actually spend some time alone, stay single for a while, and make new friends. But don't rush into a relationship, because you will actually get to know yourself, you will heal, you will start to love yourself more rather than this emptiness. Because if you rush into people, it only we project ourselves onto them, we become more and more dependent emotionally and everything, and it's just not good, right? It just makes us feel bad. The moment you actually stay single and start to heal, right, you realize that there was a very chronic sadness which was inside us, right? So this chronic sadness will actually get away. So in terms of toxic relationships, of course breakup is a thing, staying single and healing is a thing. But if things can work, like for example you have an exam in a few months or something like that, a very important exam, like let's say NEET PG or something like that, INI or something like that. What you can do is that you can try to pause, you can try to manipulate in a way, not manipulate in a wrong way, but manipulate in a way that this breakup actually can actually delay. Either it can delay, or what you can do is like you can slowly let's say slowly start to detach when you know that basically things can be bad, rather than creating a big drama or a mess. And more importantly, I'll tell you a very secret hack. Okay, I will tell you a very amazing hack to deal with toxic people. this hack is actually known as the gray rock method, right? What is this? This is known as the gray rock method. What does this mean is that most of the toxic people, if you see, that they thrive on a reaction, right? So if you give them reaction, that's what they actually thrive on, right? If you don't feed them reaction anymore, even if whatever goes in your side, in a self, if you don't give them any reaction, they'll be shocked. So that's the thing. You just don't give them any reaction or just minimal response. So this is what it is. So eventually things will actually settle down and they'll stop poking you unnecessarily. Okay. If you try to give them responses in a witty way or something like that, they will actually twist it and eventually manipulate it into basically anything else, and basically you will be in a problem. And of course, if you were so good at twisting and manipulating back, I know that you would have not been eagerly watching this video till this time. So I know that you are someone who cannot do that. So I think for you, gray rock method is a very good thing. But guys who are really, guys and girls, like anyone who is like really good at all this stuff, narcissistic behavior and everything now, and toxicity and all, they are the people who have been grown in that environment. And like usually I've observed that people in the, like, of course I respect everyone, and if someone's a human, they need to be respected, and like everyone is respected, right? But if you talk about a lower socioeconomic status, right? Okay, I don't know what is it, right? So if you talk about lower socioeconomic status, sometimes I've observed that many people from there are really good at these things because they have, I think, grown in joint families, most importantly. And just to be heard in joint families, like you have like elder brother, then you have another brother, then you have a younger brother, then you like you have your parents, then you have a lot of people out there, right? So your father's brother, elder brother, and all that stuff, your cousins and everything. So in order just to basically be heard, you need to be really really witty, sharp, very very witty and very very sharp, and you need to be really good at arguments. That's what I've observed. And especially the ones who actually do arguments all day. For example, if you specifically talk about people in government jobs, right, whom you call sarkari babus, right? So no disrespect to anyone, of course, and it's just a general observation. And I'm not basically disrespecting, or I'm not talking ill of anyone. This is a trait, and that's okay. I'm just talking about traits. I'm not talking that this is bad, this is good. Okay, so just to be on the safer side. So government jobs, like what they do is that all the time they have to talk. And many times people who have a lower self-esteem, right, in order to build a good self-esteem and to be good in front of their own eyes, in front of the mirror, they really really project their insecurities onto others, right? So whenever someone is actually talking ill about you, they are actually projecting their insecurities, right? So the self-esteem is very low. That's why their egos are like really really high. The higher the self-esteem, so the higher the ego, the lower the self-esteem, right? So those people will actually they are like good at talking, government job people, and sometimes they realize that they don't have real power, because the real power actually in government lies in the higher officials, right? So they actually can't do much. So they sometimes feel helpless, and that's when they actually start to feel good by just arguing and mocking someone else, or that taking reaction from someone else, or getting under the skin of someone else. Getting under the skin basically is a proverb which actually means the other person starts to overthink and everything, so that you can feel good after basically saying something. You say something bad to the other person, so you get under the skin of that person if that person actually starts to overthink. So this is the psychology of toxic people. And you can use the gray rock method. You can slowly detach, delay breakups if you want. All these things are actually there, right? And you should of course take yourself, take time and all that stuff, right? Apart from this, I think I've covered about the friends aspect. Find some good friends, even if it's online. Partner, if you want, like I had actually had messages where like there were like real big problems. So I don't want to go deep into all that stuff, but yeah, I've seen a lot of my friends, and a lot of things, a lot of like almost all types of relationships I think I've seen. So maybe if someone like you can comment, and I'll make some video. I don't know like what video, but you guys can like comment if you want that. And in terms of family, I already told you that you can't do much, but you can just surround yourself with positivity and give minimal reactions and use the gray rock method. Sometimes even in families, you can observe like the typical the misogynist thinking was that these guys, these earlier times, like right now I think basically things are getting better, but even in some households this is a problem, that the man actually find himself basically powerless outside, because outside he cannot basically do much, and then at home he comes up and he actually screams and shouts at his wife and his children basically, right? So these kind of men are also a bit dangerous, but I think in higher social theaters, or like if you are watching this, there are less chances that you find these things at your home, like all that stuff. But in even like though in developing countries and everything, and even in other developed countries also, sometimes these things are also basically positive. Sorry, not positive, but possible. And I hope it's not happening with you. But if it's happening with you, you have to start to distance yourself. That's the only way out, because life is too short to deal with toxic people. That's it. That's what I like to end it with. So just comment down if you have any problem, and we'll talk about it. And we are here to basically build a student community where everyone is understood, and all the students get help with perspectives. We are not talking about solutions, right? So these are not solutions, these are just perspectives which might basically help you out, right? So have a great day.